Let's begin by deleting all the tracks that we don't need. To delete a track, click on its title bar and press delete. Adjust the height of our remaining track by dragging a split line down. In the browser, navigate to Packs, Core Library, Samples, Loops. Start by opening the acoustic folder, and to audition a loop, make sure that this preview switch is turned on and then click on a sample. Its waveform will be displayed here in the preview tab and it will start to play. We can now use the up and down arrow keys on the keyboard to play the next or previous sample. To stop the preview, hit the spacebar or click anywhere in the screen. The samples in these folders contain their tempo information, and when previewed will play at that tempo. From the electronics folder, drag kick 441128 BPM onto our audio track. This creates a copy of the sample, and any future processing will not affect the original sample. Let's zoom into the clip and we'll see that it's exactly 2 measures or bars long. Right-click on the clip's title bar and select Loop Selection. This puts the loop brace around the current selection and activates the loop switch. If I just undo that, we can also click on the clip's title bar and press Command L to do the same thing. Hit the spacebar to initiate playback. If we adjust the tempo, the clip will remain 2 bars long and will always play at the current tempo. What's happening here is the sample is in loop mode, and as we adjust the tempo, Ableton Live warps the sample so that its relative bar measure doesn't change. In this case, that measure being 2 bars. And this applies to any of these loops. So we can add more loops and they will always play in time with each other, provided of course that the rhythm is the same or similar. From the electronic folder, drag Hats and Clap and drop it underneath the kick sample. Ableton Live will create a new audio track and place a copy of the sample onto it. The clip view will display a detailed view of the clip. If it doesn't, make sure that the clip view is on and the clip overview tab is selected. In the clip view, make sure that the sample box is visible by clicking on this icon. Segment BPM is Live's guess at the sample's tempo. In this case, it has guessed it to be 160 BPM, exactly double what we know it should be. Live will sometimes guess the tempo wrong by a factor of half or double. To correct it, use one of these 2 buttons. In this case, we want to halve it, so we press this one. Use the solo switch to mute all the other tracks and hear this one in isolation. And adjust the volume by dragging this slider up or down. And double click to set it back to 0. We can also deactivate a track with this button. Let's move the loop brace to the end of this clip, and let's drag the title bar of this clip to extend it. Note that we are not stretching the sample but extending the loop length. Notice also in the title bar there's a little notch at the top. This indicates a full cycle of a loop. Down here in the detailed clip view, there is also a loop brace. As we move the loop's end, notice the notch and loop cycles adjust accordingly. We can also drag the loop start and the loop brace itself. Notice that there is a start marker inside the brace. This will define at which point the loop will start when you press play. Zoom into this clip and click and drag to select an 1/8 measure. Then if we hit Command D, we can duplicate this part of the clip. This will split the loop into 3 separate loops, which we can then move around independently. If we place a clip on top of another clip and move it again, it will delete what was there before. However, because these are loops, we can drag the title bar and fill the gaps again. Or we can just rebuild the entire loop. Select a section as before, and this time press Command E to split the clip. Now we have 1, 2, 3 clips. And if we hold down the Alt key before dragging a clip, we can make a copy of it and move it elsewhere. We can also split a clip by placing the insert marker anywhere and pressing Command E. Experiment with some of the other samples and see what you can come up with. And make sure to download my working file and dissect that. In the next video, we'll be looking at making a beat with a drum rack.